Alright guys, so welcome back. So today we will be having a Fusion 360 tutorial. So this would be a basic introductory tutorial for creating this rack actually. So this is basically a sort of drawer for my resistors. So I got a lot of these resistors, um, and I need to organize them by their value, so by their resistance actually. So yeah, so in order to organize them, I created this rack, and there will be labels that will be fitted onto that would be written in paper, and that would be fixed in the slots. So, and that would represent the value of the resistor, and I'm going to keep the resistors inside. So basically that's the use of this box. So I'm going to show you how to design it. So in order to design it, so let's start a new sketch. I mean new design, and let's I'm going to first initially I'm going to see the origin right now. And let's see the origin. I'm going to click on the eye. So eye in the origin, and I got my origin. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create first I'm going to design a single drawer, and then I'm going to create the cover around all of them, around all of these drawers. All right, so what I'm going to do is all right, so for to create a single drawer, I'm going to design it from the top side. So I'm going to draw the sketch for the vertical section actually. So let's see. So I'm going to create a sketch on the XY plane, that is this one. All right, so I'm going to right click there and click on create sketch. All right, I got the sketch. Now I need to figure out the dimensions of the box that I need, and in order to do this I usually keep a pair of calipers handy. So these are like digital calipers. These are very handy for measuring things on the go, especially when you are designing. So initially I need to create a box, right? So I need to create a rectangle. So this rectangle will be representing the dimension of the box, and let's see. So I'm going to click on the origin, and there you go, I got a box. So right now I need to figure out the dimensions. So first let's figure out the length. I'm going to I got the resistor here, and I'm going to measure the length of it. So it's around 57 millimeter. I hope you can see it. It's around 57 millimeter. Let's say I'm going to go with the length of let's say 65, just to give an extra space for extra space, just like that. So let's say 65, and the width I would like it to be, let's say 13 millimeter. So what I'm doing is right now I'm just sliding the calipers and just seeing and just eyeballing the dimension, and just looking for a dimension that I'm suitable with, so that I'm comfortable with actually. So I'm going to click on tab right now. So tab will take me to the other dimension, so the other dimension, and now I'm going to write 13 millimeter. Okay, so here we got a box with the length of 65 and the breadth that's 13 millimeter. Great, so this is the basic sketch. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an offset of for this box. So that would be the outer wall of the this drawer. So I'm going to click on O is the shortcut for offset. I'm going to click on O, and I'm going to click on the outer perimeter. So here I go, and I can now specify the thickness of the outer wall. Now one of the things is that while designing this, I need to make sure that this can be printed quickly, and it does not take too much material. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the outer wall of this container has a thickness of exactly 2 layers. Now how do I figure out that it would be 2 layers? So basically to do that, I'm going to I know that my 3D printer has a nozzle diameter of 0.4 millimeters, and for 2 layers for a thickness of 2 layers I would need a thickness of 0.8 millimeters. So that's what I'm going to give the value for this offset. So I'm going to give it 0.8 millimeter. So this would give me the wall thickness of 0 point of 2 layers actually. So it won't consume too much material, and it will be printed relatively fast. So since that's done, now let's create the mm, now let's create the part where I will where I will attach the label for it. So in order to do that, let's create some parts here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line here. So I'm going to click on L. So L is a shortcut for drawing a line. I'm going to click on this point and I'm going to draw a line. So let's say I want it to be 2.5 millimeter. That's more than enough for the actually okay, that's good enough. And also I'm going to still clear again. I'm clicked on L and I'm going to draw another vertical line now. Okay, so now again I'm going to click on L and wait, from here to here. So basically I made a lip kind of structure. So I need to give this some dimensions also. Let's say I'm going to give it 3 mm or maybe 2.5. 2.5 would be better, I think. Okay, 2.5 millimeter. All right, great. So now I need the same lip on the other side also. Now I could draw the same thing again, but I can also use a mirror feature. So what I'm going to draw is I need a mirror line. So I'm going to click on L and I'm going to find the center point of this line, this one right now, right here. So how do I do that? I'm going to click on L and I'm going to eyeball the center, and as soon as I reach the center, there's a triangle icon there. So that means that I have reached the center point. So now I just need a perpendicular line here. So this would be the mirror line for mirroring this part. So what I'm going to do is create I'm going into the sketch, the create toolbar, and see there's a mirror option here. So I'm going to the mirror option. Okay, now as you can see there are two options: mirror, there is the objects that should be mirrored, and there is a mirror line. So this is our mirror line, and the objects to be mirrored are this line, this one, this one, this one, and this one. So that's it, that's all I need to be mirrored. So, and as you can see, there is a preview already there, and if I click on here, okay, I got the mirror. Now the one very powerful feature of Fusion 360 is that after mirroring, if I change, let's say, the dimension on this side, let's say I made this from 2.5 to 3, it will also get updated on the other side also. So that's a very powerful feature for Fusion 360 that makes designing in Fusion very easy. Okay, now I need to now what I need is the lip kind of structure that I will be using to pull out the drawer. So that is this structure. So so for that I'm going to use a I'm going to use an arc. So I get an arc. I'm going to use a 3-point arc. I'm going to start from this point. Wait. Okay, let's start from this point, and the other point would be this. And as you can see, I got an arc here. Okay. Okay, I should actually start from this end point only. That would be better. Okay, that's better right now. Okay, so that's done. Now that is the basic sketch for the bottom part. So now I can close the sketch, finish the sketch, and I got this thing. I got the basic sketch for the bottom of the rack. So now let's figure out now let's extrude this rack into a 3D model kind of, and let's see how that goes. Alright, so in order to extrude that, I'm going to click on E. The shortcut is for extrude is E. So I'm going to click on E and I'm going to click on the outer wall right now. So the outer wall and the lips for these parts that will be holding the label for it, and let's extrude that. Okay, so I selected all the parts that I need to extrude, and let's say what height do I need. Now a height of around 16 millimeter seems good. A height of 16 millimeter seems good for me, so let's do that. That would be 16. What's that? Okay, let me just try again. Something went wrong there. Okay, and the height is 16. All right, so no, I think 16 is too much, so let's give let's say 12 or 13. We should give 13 actually, since since breadth is also 13, so let's give 13. Alright, so that is done, and now as soon as we extruded it, the sketch has disappeared. So now we need to bring back the sketch because we have not created the bottom part of it. So let's again extrude to create the bottom part of the container. So I'm going to click on this profile, and I'm also going to click on this thing. So and I'm going to extrude it for now. Okay, now the thickness of the bottom part is also important while considering 3D printing. So I'm going to print it at a layer height of 1.5 millimeters, and I would like to have it let's say 6 layers on the bottom layer. So what I'm going to do is 1.5 sorry 0.15, I'm sorry, 0.15 is the layer height into 6. So this would give me quite a good what do I say, quite a good structure that can be easily printed out. So also there's one more what do I say, slight problem in this design. So when I try to pick up resistors from this box, obviously my fingers won't fit inside this container, so I need some kind of cutout on the side so that I can pick out the resistor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a cutout on the side, so it would be something like this. So this is basically so that I can pick up resistors from the box. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on one side of this box. So let's select this side, and I'm going to create a sketch. I'm going to create a sketch here. Now while creating the sketch, I need to figure out where to place the cutout. So the cutout should start somewhere after this point, because this is the inner wall. So I need the cutout inside the inner wall, so I need this point actually, and when I'm on the side view I can't see those points. So first thing that I should do is I'm going to project out these points. Okay, so projection is basically a way to bring a feature from another sketch or another or a point or an edge of a body into my current sketch. So the shortcut for that is P. So I'm going to click on P, and then I'm going to click on this point right here. So I got this point, and also I'm going to click on this point. So basically what will happen right now is I will get these 2 points projected onto my current sketch. So I'm going to click on P here, and I'm going to go on the left view again. So as you can see now, I have those 2 points in my present sketch. Now this would be very helpful to design this thing. So let's create a line from this point to this point, and also I need a midpoint, so I need a mirror line also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one half of this cutout, and I'm going to just mirror it to the other side. So I'm going to create a line. I'm going to start from here to something like this. I need so also there's another feature. So after drawing a line, I can add dimensions to the line. So what to do that, I have to press on the D keyword. I have to press on a D key. So there's a shortcut for that. I'm going to press on D, and now I can select two maybe lines or 2 features on the sketch to add dimensions to it. So I'm going to create an angle between this line and this line. So I'm going to basically define this angle as 45 degree. So I'm going to click here and click here. So now I'm going to click it, set it as 45 degrees. So now I have defined the dimension of this line, of this angle as 45 degree. Also I need to set the distance between this and this. So let's say I'm going to set it as 4. It's not necessary to add dimensions to everything in Fusion, but it is a good approach to have dimensions in most of the features. So now I'm going to click on escape, and I have got rid of the dimension, and I'm going to click create a mirror. Now I'm going to mirror this on the other side also. So I'm going to click on mirror, and these two are the features that I'm going to mirror, and the mirror line is this one. Okay, so now this is a mirror line. Okay, now, and this does not have any significance in my sketch as of. So I'm going to click on this line, press the key X. So this will basically turn it into a construction line. So basically, as you can see, it has become a dotted line. So now that it is a construction line, it won't really affect my model, and it is just as a reference line right now. Alright, so I have created the cutout, and I'm going to pull this a bit lower. Okay, that looks fine. And let me give a dimension. Actually, I'm going to give a dimension of okay, not this one. I'm going to give a dimension of, let's say, what is that, 6. Okay, I'm going to give maybe 7. Okay, 7 mm. So 7 millimeter dimension is fine between this top side. And now I'm going to extrude it. So to extrude it, I'm going to click on this surface, and I'm going to click on the key E, and now I can extrude it till this surface. So I'm going to click on this surface right now. So it has automatically detected that the cut operation has to be performed, and that's what I want. So I'm going to just click on enter, and that's it. Now I have completed the drawer. Alright, so now that my drawer has been done, I can proceed to create the outer case for this model. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch on the let's see, just a minute. Okay, so I'm going to create a sketch on this plane. Which one? Okay, this plane. Alright, so I can there are two ways to create sketches. I can either create it on the axes, like on the faces that are given by the origin, or I could create it on any other faces. So right now I'm going to create the outer sketch for this outer box on this face. So I'm going to create a sketch here, and first thing that I need to do is I need to project out the dimensions. I need to project out the outer surface of this this drawer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on P, and I'm going to click on the four corner excuse me, I'm going to try it again. So I'm going to click on the four corners. So I got 1, 2, 3 and 4. All right, so now that I got the four corners, I could just draw a rectangle with 4 of the corners. So that is done. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an offset. So this offset would basically show how much gap I would like between the drawers. So between the drawer and the case, the box that is it would be containing in. So this would basically be let me show you. This would be basically this gap, the gap between the drawer and the container. So I'm going to give it around, let's say, a dimension, let's say around 1 millimeter, 1.5 millimeter. Okay, that will be minus 1.5. Okay, so this is good enough. So now I would like to have let's say 5 trays on 5 by, I would like to have a drawer of 5 by 5 trays. So what I can do right now is I can draw 5 rectangles right now side by side, or I could use a pattern feature in the Fusion Sketch library, sketching tool that is called the rectangular pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the sketches here. Okay, and I can drag it sideways. So basically I'm going to create a pattern sideways. All right, now before I start the pattern, I need to know a few things. So since I'm going to be having 5 of them, I need this 5. Since I'm going to have 5 drawers in total, so 1 2 3 4 5. Now the thing is, as with the thickness of the walls that would be between these two, that is basically I'm talking about this wall thickness. Okay, the thickness of all these walls, so this should be 0.8 millimeter, because as you can see, that will as I told you before, that would form that would form 2 layers basically, and that would be quick enough to print. So right now, as you can see, I just eyeballed it. I did not put in any proper dimensions earlier. So basically I'm going to edit that feature again, to give in proper dimensions. So now the dimensions for that I would actually need is, I need to calculate that dimension. So basically the idea how to calculate is, I'm going to see the length of this one single side, and that is that is on the bottom right corner, and that is showing 17.6 millimeter. So excuse me. Okay, now it is 17.6 millimeters. So the entire length from here to here would be 17.6 into 5 plus 4 into the gaps, that is 4.8. so let me calculate that. Okay, just a minute. All right, so 4 into 0.8, okay, that is 3.2, and 4 into that is 17.6, that is 70.4 plus 3.2, that would be 73.6, and that would be the length I'm going to give in the rectangular pattern. So I'm just going to, in order to modify this pattern, I'm going to click here. So this is basically the icon that came up when I made this pattern. So if I double click it, I can edit the pattern that I have done earlier, and here I can change the distance. So what was the distance I got before? That was 73.6, so I can get 73.6. all right, so now if you see the distance between these two, you can see, as you can see, it is 0.8. I can't change it because I have already fixed the dimension, fixed this one. So now what I need to do is, I'm going to do I have to do the same thing again on the vertical side. And so I'm going to do the same process. I'm going to calculate the length of one side first. That is 16 millimeter, as you can see on the bottom right corner. Okay, one more thing I didn't mention is, I forgot to mention is, while multiplying it, as you can see, I have multiplied the length of this side by 4 instead of 5, because the length that basically this length that I have entered here is basically the distance from this line to the last line. Okay, so this so here this part is not included, that is why I multiplied it by 4. all right, so again I need to do the same thing. I need to give so the formula would be the basics, the length would be 16 into 4 plus 3.6, I think it was, let me see, 0.8 into 4, 3.2 actually. So 16 into 4 plus 3.2, that is 67.2. so I need to create another rectangular pattern, rectangular pattern, and I'm going to click all the walls, 1 2 3. so I got to select all of the walls now. Alright, so I have selected all of the walls, and I'm going to extrude it on top. I'm going to so the length, I need 5 of those, and the length would be, what was the length, let me see, I forgot, it was 67.2. so this would be 67.2, and that's it. Oh, okay, Okay, I made a mistake. So I'm just going to do Control Z. I'm going to just undo, and I'm going to just select everything. I'm just going to hide the body. I'm going to select everything. I'm going to give it a rectangular pattern just because I'm lazy to select individual walls. So I might actually end up selecting a few extra bodies, but that's really it's fine, I guess. So I'm going to just give another rectangular pattern. This will be 67.2. 67.2, and this would be number of repetition would be 5. Okay, I don't need all these features. Somehow these got included here, and I'm going to just delete all those because I don't need them. It doesn't matter if it stays there because that won't really affect it, but it looks weird, so I'm going to just delete it. Okay, that's done. Now what I can do is, now that I have all the outer shell ready, I just need to create a rectangle that covers all of this, and that a distance of this outer wall from the inner wall would be, as usual, it would be it would be 0.3. I'm giving these dimensions by pressing the key D for dimensions, and then I'm selecting the two walls, two lines that I need to add dimensions between. So again, the same thing I'm going to do on all of the sides. What is that? Okay, now for some reason these ones are not fixed, so that's weird. Okay, so there is a dimension there, 0.8. That's odd. Why is that coming up? That's not supposed to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this one here, and then I'm going to I don't. Okay, and then I'm going to make this pointed, so now that won't happen. 0.8. Oh man, that's bad. Okay, now the thing is, maybe some of the lines are not fixed there, so basically I'm going to click on the right click on this line. I'm going to fix it, so this will be locked onto this position, and when I change this thing, it won't move again. So that's it. I got the drawing done, sketch done. I just need to extrude it now. I'm going to click on E, and I'm going to click on the extrude, and well, that's it. I extruded it till the end, and I need to cover up the back part, so I'm going to click a sketch on the back side, create sketch, and I'm going to give a rectangle. I'm going to draw a rectangle from this point till this point. That's it, and I'm going to extrude this rectangle. I don't need to see the bodies and all those, so I got to select everything. Okay, everything is selected, and I need a thickness of, let's say, 0.15 into 6. So okay, I need to extrude. Okay, 0.15 into 6. So wait, what? Yeah, wait, let me do that again. .15 into 6. Alright, that's it, done. So now my box is ready. I can add colors to it by just going into bodies. So this one is the dryer, and this would be the rack. I'm just going to rename it, and I'm going to just click on appearance, and I'm going to just select any of the two red. Any color or any color that I would like to give it. So that's it. I'm going to put red here, and this one will be blue. And also there's one more thing that is practical issue. So when I keep this rack on the table, if I keep it horizontally like this, there's a chance that when the table vibrates slightly, a few of the racks from the top will fall down. So basically I need to put it in an angle, so I need to place it on the table something like this. So I'm going to create a sketch on this side to create a line. So this will basically make the front of the rack at an angle, so that the compartment the trace won't fall out. So I'm going to give it a height of around 12 millimeters and an angle of, okay, I don't need this constraint, and an angle of, I don't, and an angle of, let's say, 30 degree. Okay, now this and this would be coincidented. So, and that's it, done. So I'm going to click on this extrude. I want it to be extruded till this point, and the box is done. All right, so thanks for watching. Bye.